Today I want to start a dialogue and talk about homebrew competitions and how much the results really matter. Let's talk about it. So this topic is one that is really hitting home to me recently because I have gone super hard this year into homebrew competitions, specifically lots of Mead competitions, but also a medley of other ones. I have been submitting things left and right because honestly it's fun. It's fun to do it. And through this whole time, I've seen some great success, which is awesome. And I've seen some really low lows of things that have not gone well. I've also, throughout all of this, still continued to share the same brews I'm sending off to competitions with my friends, my family, and receive feedback from them and all of these things. So I was really dwelling on how to put this into a video. So I started a test to do this. Naturally, of course, I started a test. I wanted to compare results from a major competition. I'm not going to say any names of competitions because I don't want to disparage any of them in specific. I just want to give my overall. So a major mead competition, I sent something off to it. And I wanted to compare the results that I got from that brew to what my friends thought about it. So what I did was I created this key lime pie mead recipe, and it's right here. It's in this can. My buddy Larry has created his own. There's a video on how to make this brew if you'd like to see the creation of it. But in short, I made this mead. I sent it off to that competition, and then in the meantime, while waiting for the competition, I shared a bunch of it with my friends and my family and my homebrew club and lots of people like that. And within that, I asked for them to give me a score out of 50, similar to what a competition would. So the results of that were kind of interesting because I crewed all of this data. And what I found, I can show you the side-by-sides of what the scores were real fast. The total average, not without trimming a mean or anything like that, of all of the scores from my homebrew club and my friends and my family, they came down to a 38.7 out of 50 on this mead. And we had some highs. Of course, I think if I were to drop the highs and lows, it'd be different. But, the highest was a 45, lowest was a 32. Or excuse me, lowest was a 30. So there's that, 38.7. At this specific competition I sent this to, this got, I believe, a 31 or 32. So we look at these two numbers, 38.7 and a 31 or 32, whatever it was. Obviously not super far apart. So the question here is, well, I mean, they're far enough apart. The question here is, which one matters more? Does the competition number, should that be more prevalent in the person's mind who receives that number than your friends or family? This is something that I struggle with quite a bit because obviously I put a lot of weight into competitions. My hope is that when I send something off to a competition, I'm going to get a competent and great judge who's going to give me good feedback on everything that's happening with the brew. That doesn't always happen that way, to be honest, but my hope is that that's what's going to happen. With your friends, it's kind of a dangerous game because obviously, some people know what they're tasting. Some people have no idea what they're tasting or how to give notes, and so they just give a score, I tried to give things to people who were competent in homebrew as best as I could, so that's why my club, Red Earth Brewers, was part of it. And then everyone who tasted it on my list, aside from that homebrew club, are people who homebrew or are very competent in homebrewing. So I felt good about those scores. So at the end of the day, which matters more? I would love to sit here and say that, because I think that competitions are really fun, but it's easy to get trapped in results. I'd love to say that those competition results don't mean anything to me, but they do, of course, because we want to be successful with those things. But what I found through some of this experience is that I need to lean, and I want to lean on more appeasement of my friends, making my friends happy, and brewing for myself. I haven't even talked about myself in this, but I want to enjoy this thing. Maybe it's not a 50 out of 50, but I want to think it's awesome, because I do think this is awesome. A tricky part about submitting to competitions, like I alluded to earlier, is that Oftentimes, they will bring in fantastic judges who are certified to judge that specific thing. Every once in a while, they just bring in some Joe Schmoes who don't really know what they're doing, and they don't give great notes. I've had a lot of competitions I've submitted to where the person tastes something and they give notes about it that very clearly suggest that they don't know what to say. Because like oftentimes it's stuff that's not even relevant to the brew, and or they just don't know how to give good feedback. Or, that turns into scores as well. The same thing happens with your friends, so that's the tough part. Again, we're all hopeful that our friends will give us solid feedback, yes, no's, and all of those things. Today's video is sponsored by ZBiotics. If you've ever woken up after drinking and not felt so great, that's because there is a byproduct of alcohol that is called acetaldehyde. That's something that our body can't necessarily break down. With the help of ZBiotics, which is a pre-drink before you drink this, it helps to break down the acetaldehyde that's in your gut as you're drinking, therefore allowing you to have a better morning after you drink. It's still recommended that you use water or drink water and do all those things, but ZBiotics is a great way to help you the morning after you drink. If you'd like to find more information, there's a QR code you can scan and there's some information for a discount. You can use my link, but check out ZBiotics, go get yourself some, and hopefully you'll be able to party confidently knowing you'll have a better morning ahead of you with ZBiotics. I did this with a separate brew as well, but it wasn't as, I didn't do as much with it. I didn't share it with as many friends. I made a no water blueberry mead, and I actually had my buddy Carlos taste test it, and in the video, I asked him, I said, hey, I'm sending it to this competition. What would you score it out of 50? And he said something like a 42 or 3 or something like that. At that specific competition, it scored a 31. I did something with a no water mixed berry, and same idea. I asked my buddy BC to taste test it and said, hey, what do you think this is gonna score? What do you score it out of 50? He said a 43 or something like that. That mead scored a 31 at that competition. That's a big gap. And again, it begs the question, which one matters more? And it's still a lot of personal opinion on that as far as which one you're gonna weigh heavily. I'm talking a lot out of experience. This is not fact necessarily. This is just my experience and my opinion. So if you have a different opinion, that's great. I'm speaking from my opinion. So please don't get mad at me and say, well, you're wrong. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong to some of you, but I'm just giving my opinions on this. So throughout all of those 3 brews that were sent off to a competition and did not do as well as my friends had suggested and or I thought they would do, I have to weigh which one matters more. And for my mental health to say I want to keep brewing and not be totally knocked down, in truth, I have to lean on, oftentimes, my friends for that feedback or the real truth. Or the way you can really count if competitions mean a lot is by sending it to multiple competitions. So I can use my no water blueberry, for example. That one scored a 31 at one competition. And then I think a week earlier, it had scored a 44 at a competition and won a first place. So even between 2 competitions, which one was right? The easier thing to do, unfortunately it costs money to do this, is to send something to multiple competitions. Let's say you sent the same brew off to 5 competitions. Then you have a greater spread of data to go off of. But still, I would love to hear, I want to start this dialogue down below. What matters more to you, as far as scores and things go? I'm saying all of this, and in truth, I speak out of both sides because BC, doing the most, Mandy or Faywood Mead and myself, we have our own mead competition, and we of course love to promote people to come and enter it because we want to be beginner friendly and we want to give good feedback and help you be a better brewer. Now, it's hard to say both sides. If, I'm asking the question, do competitions matter as far as results? Yes, they do, I think, but if they're the only thing that matter to you, it is a dangerous game. Because one day, you'll get a judge that doesn't quite like your product, maybe like you do or your friends did, and if you put more weight into their opinion than the people around you or the results that you received in other places, you'll find yourself pretty unhappy with your brewing, like I did for a little moment there. So just be smart about those opinions. Make sure that you're not weighing too heavily towards one end, and brew for yourself. That's the truth of it. At the end of the day, we're brewing for ourselves, for our friends, hopefully that you're sharing your stuff. And of course, if you can do the competition sphere, that's great. I've had a great year in the home brewing world. My personal projects have been awesome and super fun, and I've made fun videos. And as far as results from competitions, I've had some really fantastic results and had a lot of fun with that. But I don't want to get so stuck into if this brew doesn't do well at a competition that it's not good, because that's a dangerous game. Like I said, we want to brew for ourselves. We want to brew for our friends and make those people happy in our lives. So I encourage you to submit to competitions. I encourage you to share with your friends. But just keep in mind, people have preferences. And if you don't do as well with your friend group as you'd like, that's okay. If you don't do as well with a competition as you'd like with giving stuff or sending stuff off, that's okay as well. It's all about you and your personal desire to brew and have the fun with it. It's okay to brew for other people, but have fun with it. So this has been a little bit of a heavy topic. It's something that's very prevalent in my life, even actively as I continue to pursue competitions and submit things. And I'm hopeful to do well, because who's not hopeful to do well when they send things off? But I am realistic to say, at the end of the day, I'm going to do this for myself. So I hope you will too. I hope you'll continue to make some more mead, beer, wine, cider. I hope you'll submit to Mead Stampede, which is arguably, I think, the best mead competition in the entire world, because we have such a heart for good feedback and for giving you the tools to be more successful each time. Of course, we give awards and stuff too, so those are fun. But check out those links to Mead Stampede if you're interested, and I hope you will return back for another video. If you would like to hear me talk about another topic, deep dive, something like this, that's more, I guess, I don't know, ranty. This is kind of a rant video. Let me know, ask me below, and if you like this, let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.